Welcome back, baby, to AJ's World of Bodybuilding. I hope you missed me, but I'm back. And now we are 8 weeks out to the historic Arnold Classic, named after the ultimate icon, Arnold Schwarzenegger. We have seen tremendous legends such as Kai Green, Kevin Leroney, and Dexter Jackson perform magic at the Arnold stages. But this year, 2023, there's a new generation stepping up. Who is going to take the title of the 2023 Arnold Classic champion? Guys, let's jump straight into it. Our first guest of AJ's World of Bodybuilding in 2023, Sergio Oliva JR. Guys, remember to subscribe, sit back, and enjoy this Arnold Classic show. Welcome everyone back finally to AJ's World of Bodybuilding, and today we're joined by, you promised us this is going to be the year, correct, Sergio? This is going to be the year.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. It's funny because I'm from Chicago, and before the Cubs, the baseball team, before they won, it was a couple years ago. It's like the first time they've won in like 100 years. It was like an inside joke for anyone who's a Cubs fan. We always say, this year is our year. Next year, I swear, this year sucked, but next year is definitely my year. So it's funny, and now that's become my thing. It's kind of like a run-on joke. But yes, this year for sure, I'll definitely be getting on stage, and I'll be getting back to the Olympia.
Just a quick question before we jump into the Arnold Classic. How did it feel to be back in Las Vegas, watch the guys, you're walking around 300 pounds. How was the love from the fans?
It's always great in person. I mean, everyone's supportive in person, because realistically too, the people that go to shows, those are the real fans. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying everyone who can't go to a show isn't a real fan, but definitely all the people that are at a show are definitely a real fan. It's very easy to stay at home and pretend that you support bodybuilding through your phone and watching the streaming. And yeah, not everyone can travel, but the people that are at shows, they're traveled from all over the world. So they're just so excited about the sport in general that they're just happy to see people that they've either never met before or people that they support. So it was really cool to be there. But for myself personally, you know, I wasn't even going to go, AJ. I was just kind of like, I want to stay here. It's a long flight. And because I ended up going with a sponsor that flew me out last minute, once I got there, though, I was so happy I got there. I was there. It was really good. It was refreshing. It reminded me, too, I have a lot of work that I need to do. But also being there for this Olympia, it was like different than any other one. I've been there when Jay beat Ronnie. I've been there when Sean beat Phil. These monumental Olympias. But this one was different because now for us as a competitor, anyone can win. So it was very cool to see the people that are always winning not really win. I thought the judging was perfect. Everyone who, you know, you could switch a couple people here or there, but for the most part, you know, like they're really rewarding people who came in at their best, not just kind of giving them the regular placing that we've done. And like I said at the recap after the show, this is the first time we had the first place guy go to fifth place. The worst ever was a Mr. Olympia going from first to third, and that was a big deal. So it was just cool to be there, and I'm very excited to get back on stage.
We're not going to go into the Olympia now, but just one quick question. Was Ramy really that off compared to what you've seen him before? Or no? Because you were there live.
I don't think it was just like this like sloppy mess where it's like, oh my God, what happened? You need to completely rechange the whole formula. I just think Ramy has that kind of body where if he's just a little bit off on his abs, you know, it kind of changes everything. And of course, whatever's going on with the back, it's definitely just so noticeable. But the biggest part was just his kind of midsection. And you know more than anyone, man, your midsection ties everything together. So your legs can look amazing, or they can really not look that great. And I think just that part of his body being off, people can nitpick the knot in his butt and the hole in his leg. I mean, there's a ton of issues, but that's what being Mr. Olympia means. You get critiqued very hard, but he wasn't like this, like, oh my God, he needs to retire and he needs to call it a day. I would love to see now what he will look like. Because let's remember, the Jay Cutler that won all the Mr. Olympias before he lost to Dexter, it's not the pictures that we use when people want to talk about Jay or we compare him to other people. We use the year after he lost.
2009.
So sometimes, you know, even all the way back to my dad's day, after Arnold lost to my dad, it brought a different Arnold. So sometimes when these Mr. Olympias lose, chances are 90% we're going to see a better person. So is it going to be good enough to win next year? We'll have to see. But no matter what, I think Ramy's going to come back a little bit better. Getting punched in the face like he did is definitely, and I know him personally, it's not going to be something that he's just going to take lightly.
Arnold Classic 2023. It has a long, respectful tradition in Ohio. You yourself competed. Best posing, one of your best moments on stage, probably with Arnold, and winning the best posing award. And this year, you saw the list, 7 guys, because Griffin is out. First reaction to 7 guys in the open.
I thought 8 was ridiculous. So even 8 was just like, what is going on, you know? And like me, myself, personally, I can only speak for myself. Like, I'm not ready in time. I don't want to get on stage if I'm not my best. But I'm really confused why a lot of people who just finished competing a couple weeks ago are not just going to hop into this show. I saw Andrew today, and we were talking about it. And I was like, Andrew, if you don't get your ass into that Arnold, you're going to miss, you know, an opportunity to win the Arnold Classic your first try. But I don't know if it's the same case for everybody else, but he's taking some time off, cleaning his body out. He wants to take a break. But like what he was saying, he made a good point too. He did shows all year and then hopped into the Olympia. So by the time he was done, I know how that feels. That's how I was when I did the Olympia. I was just so burnt out that you just need a break. But a lot of the guys who did the Olympia this year didn't do a show all year. They were qualified since last year, or even since last Arnold. Mm-hmm. So who knows? Maybe now that they see the list, it might change and maybe some people will hop in. Knowing how the Arnold Classic normally goes, they always add 2 more guys. Every time they have the list, it's always 2 more guys. It's never been where the people that they add at the last minute end up winning.
Okay.
But I just refuse to believe that there's going to be 7 guys in the Arnold Classic and you can win $180,000 or whatever it is, going against 212 guys, you know, really 2-3 really great bodybuilders, but that's it. You know, so I don't know. I'm really shocked. It's confusing.
We're going to jump quickly. And on AJ's World of Bodybuilding, we know the kids, they like their classic. So we're going to start with classic, first time ever. And you got some death threats back in the day for going against classic, wasn't it?
It really wasn't. It wasn't me. It was more Phil with his Weekend Warrior.
Well, okay. Classic growing in popularity. Bumstead obviously doing tremendous with this division. Not only him, but as he's risen to mainstream level of fame. The list, as you can see for people at home, you're looking at the list, and it's 2 names that people obviously are debating already: Ramone and Urs. You saw both at the Olympia. And why did Ramone beat Urs there, in your opinion?
I think Ramone is just a little bit bigger than Urs, just a little bit in muscle. It's funny because I obviously, you know, I favor because Aceto does Ramone's diet. So, you know, all of Aceto's guys will always root for each other. But I'm really good, close friends with Urs. Actually, Urs was just here in Dubai. He just left yesterday. Oh, wow. And we were able to, you know, spend some time together. And this guy is on another level. Like, you know, I think in the beginning, when you're young like them, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm excited to be doing the Olympia. I'm excited to be in the first call out. It's Chris is like the Phil Heath and the Ronnie Coleman. Like, you know, you're not going to beat him. So what you're doing is you're just improving on yourself and waiting for him to retire. And then you're going to be next in line. Let's be real. Like, nobody, you know, they can say whatever they want. Their champions are always going to say, yes, we're going to win. But they know it's just waiting for this guy to retire. And then they're going to fight amongst each other for this title.
One question about that. Has Urs and you discussed this? Have you asked Urs personally, like, do you think you have a chance to beat Bumstead? Or have you had this discussion?
I didn't ask him because competitors don't ask each other that. That wouldn't be something I would ever ask them. I've just seen how he does in interviews when other people ask him that. And every time he says, yes, I'm coming to beat him. Of course, that's the right answer. Yeah. But there's a ton of people I don't want to name any names because then people will get too caught up in the names. But there's a lot of people that were competing with Phil Heath that said, yes, I'm going to beat him. But man, like exactly. It took Phil Heath to hurt himself for there even to be a door open to even beat this guy. Because let's be real, if he never had that issue with his hernia in his stomach, he probably would have won 15 Olympias. Yeah. And every year somebody would have said, yes, I'm going to beat him. But really in the back of your head, we're kind of just fighting for second, and hopefully one day he'll retire and then we can take over. But no, Urs didn't say that. He would never say that. He's a champion, and that's just how he is about everything. But what I was going to say is I think in the beginning, they're kind of just like, oh, I'm excited, blah, blah, blah. But now after this Olympia where they could have switched second and third, maybe, I don't think anyone besides people in Brazil would have lost their mind that they switched those two places. So now that there is no Bumstead, like there isn't at any classic, and there's no Terrence, I think it's just going to be different for them because I think going into it, knowing Terrence is in there and he's just a completely different type of person because in clothes, Terrence doesn't even look like he's a professional. And then he takes his clothes off and he's like literally the definition of bodybuilding. So going against that and that posing, that's got to be tough. But now it's just him and Ramon, who they just went against each other, and you could have swapped them if you wanted.
What do you do now if you're Urs? What would you do if you're Urs now to try to win this? Will you change your look? Would you because he looked pretty good to me at the Olympia.
Yeah, no, I would say he was perfect. I wouldn't change anything. And I think that's how he is too. When you talk to him, he's not worried. He's not rushing anything. He's not stressing himself out. And he knows that he's very young, that if he literally just does what he did the last 2 years for the next 5 years, I can't imagine how much he would be able to fill out. I don't know his weight and how much he can gain, how much more he can fill out. But I mean, Bumstead he's a big dude. So if they're the same height, I think they're the same weight, if I'm not wrong.
So Ramon, Urs, you're not sure. It could go either way, correct?
Yeah, it could go either way.
Yeah. Mike Summerfield, tremendous job at the Olympia. 5th place, beat a lot of big names. This gentleman from Germany, beautiful shape, great conditioning. Is there any chance if Ramon and Urs are slightly off, he can sneak in and take it?
Well, of course, you can say that about any show. That's what you're supposed to say is if this person's off, then of course this can do it. The question is, can this guy do it while they're both on? Because, he beats both of them in the legs. It's just Ramon from the back is a different human being. It's funny because when you look at Mike, you think he's like way bigger than them. Just stature. And of course his legs are just so, like I said, gravitating. But no, if Ramon and Urs are on, it's going to stay the same.
The Open, obviously my favorite. No matter what, Open will always be king. I'm sorry to all your teenagers out there who's saying differently, but I'm sorry. That's how it is.
Well, look, hey, I don't want to cut you off, but I do want to touch on that. Look, people need to remember, and this is very hard. That's why I hate when these Instagrams do these contests of what's better, classic or open bodybuilding. And then we take this poll and say, well, that's how it is for everybody in the world. So let's just remember something. And I'm always going to be the bad guy because I'm always going to stick up for open. A huge, huge, huge majority of fans of open aren't on Instagram.
Exactly.
And you need to remember that. So when you do these polls and stuff, you're missing a huge amount of people that don't have Instagram. Some of them don't even have social media.
Exactly.
And you have to talk about all the people in other countries that don't even have internet. What about the older fans? They don't have social media. Do their opinions not count? So you can do these polls online all you want and say which one is more popular, which one is this. I think it's amazing how popular Classic is. And I think it's no matter what, trickled down into the judges of what they're looking for in open. I think it's definitely has a voice, but this well, we know that this is the most important because when I go on Instagram, it says that this is the most important. It's fucking bullshit. So let's just remember that. That's all I wanted to say.
7 guys. Let's go through them. Blessing Abadibo, sadly did not place at the Olympia. He's created a lot of good hype for himself. He's an expert at social media because everyone knows Blessing, even though he didn't place as well as he would like. He said he was off at the Olympia, some problem with stress. George Farah said he was stressing. That's why his body didn't respond. Blessing at this show. It's time to make an impact now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. I heard that he said that too, that he knew that he was going to the Olympia, wasn't looking well. But I was there at prejudging. He walked out, and every time he hit the pose, he was nodding like, yeah, look at this. Like, So you can change up your story after when he went back and looked at pictures. I've done that before too. I went on stage and you think that you're on, and when you go back and look at pictures, you're like, holy shit, I was way off. So I don't know if that's what happened, but I promise you, going into prejudging, this guy thought he was in the first call out for sure. He came out with so much energy and just optimism. But in this Arnold, I think obviously it's going to be better than the Olympia. Anything will be better than that. And also, too, people that are really attacking him, you have to remember, they're looking at him at the night show. Sometimes when I've done it before, too, where you just do so bad, it's very hard to continue eating and continue trying to peak for the night show when you know, like him, he didn't place. So a lot of people are taking the pictures from the night show when really that's not how bad he really looked. It was, the prejudging wasn't a lot better, but it was better. But this Arnold, he is going to look like what he did when he won New York and Indy, I believe.
We're not going to go through every place and everything, but do you see him in the top 3?
No.
Justin Rodriguez competed a lot last year. Sometimes he was on, sometimes he was slightly off. Tremendous. I don't think people understand how big Justin, like, he is a freak. Cartoonish arms, delts, legs. He actually placed at the Olympia. A lot of people didn't even have him even probably make the top 15. 15 out of 30 guys. For me, that's a great finish.
Yeah, for sure. He's got one of the best backs
at this show. What do you think?
Justin does well at the Arnold. You know, he's only beat me once, and that's what he beat me as at the Arnold. So sometimes all you have to do is nail it at the right show. And I would rather nail it at the Arnold than I would at a regular local show. But Justin has one of the best backs in open, and that has to be respected. I think that's why they gave him that placing at the Olympia. He's just days and nights ahead of a lot of us in the back. It's just a crazy amount of dents that you just can't. I don't even understand him, how he is able to do it. I think he'll be fighting with a few other people, maybe for the first call out. Also, too, I don't know.
It's only 7 guys, Sergio. What do you mean?
So that's what I was just about to say. Is I am curious if they're just going to do a first call out of 4 people.
No.
They did that. They did that when I did the Arnold last. They only did 4 people. So maybe they're going to do less this time. Sometimes they do less when there's not that many people, because otherwise, how do you do 6 people? You're going to have one guy in the second call out.
Kamal El-Garni, up 212, open 212 at the Olympia. A lot of people had him second over Calderon. This is not about Olympia. This is about Arnold. And what do you think he's going to do there now, Kamal? And now there's no weight restriction.
I think he'll be one of the most conditioned people for sure on stage. So I think it's just going to be on what are the judges going with. I feel like Samson is only humongous person in the show. So that's actually going to help these 212 guys, because another thing people don't know about bodybuilding, because they only watch from their phone, when you go in person, you can change how you look by who you stand next to. And I know when I say that, people are like, well, duh. But I'm saying, like, look at the Olympia. You have a lot of shorter guys. Nick, Derek, Hadi. They look all even. But if you throw in a couple tall guys that are on, it makes them seem like they're a lot shorter than they are. So this show only having really one tall guy, I think Kamal's really going to be able to hold his own, and he's just going to fit right in.
Akeem Williams, he beat Kamal. A lot of people disagreed, but
yeah, I would.
You would. What's Akeem Kamal now? Will Akeem beat Kamal again here?
Yeah, I think so, actually, just because Akeem hasn't been the Akeem that, we saw since the Olympia when it was back in Florida that one time when he did really well. there's no way once you get a taste of the first call at the Olympia, yeah, you can have a bad year. That's understandable. But there's no way that I think that he's going to take this time and then now go into the Arnold, because you have to remember, everybody put their names into the Arnold. The Arnold's not just inviting people that didn't enter. So he put his name into this hat. He has to be feeling like, man, you know what? We messed something up the last couple of shows. I really want to come in at this show on. So I think he is going to be really good.
Now, my top three. Do you agree that it's William Bonac, Samson, and Sean Clarida that's going to be in the top three?
Yeah, it has to be, because unless, right, Justin comes out of nowhere looking like what he did. Was it the last Arnold? He placed really well. I think he got 6 because he looked really well, and then he was supposed to win Boston after, but then he didn't. That would be the only person, because Sean's back is so good. How many people can beat him in the back? Bonac will have the best back double by on the whole show. But then it's just really what Samson's going to look like. You know, I know we can talk about and go through each person, but it's just going to be, did Samson nail it? Which I hope he does. I love Samson. And anyone who doesn't love this guy, you're not a fan of bodybuilding. Or you've only followed it for a short amount of time, because this guy went from working out in his hotel, and that Korea show, gets canceled, and now look, he's, you know, in the first call of the Olympia. So it's so motivating. And if he's on, it just changes the whole competition, because Clarida is a mini Ronnie Coleman, right? Well, if you have everybody on point, then it doesn't matter, because he's so short. It's going to be hard to compete with the amount of muscle on him.
At the Olympia, you were there. Samson Dauda's 6th place package. Does that beat Sean Clarida's 212 package?
Yes, because I feel like this 212 wasn't his best.
Okay.
When he won, he looked better. When he beat us at Legion, he looked better. But
really?
Yeah, he was way tighter. His abs were way tighter. But he was able to get a little bit bigger since then. It's been a year. So I think that's what happened, is he got really big. And let's be real too. Can you imagine being Sean and finding out Derek went to the Open? He probably sat back and was like already celebrating that he won the 212, because I was the only guy that he had to worry about. So, but yes, you beat him, to answer your question.
So your favorite coming in is Samson Dauda. Is that correct?
I think it's his show to lose, of course. I don't think anyone's going to say that. But I will say this, and there's a lot of Bonac haters because they don't know him. This guy is a really good person. He's such a genuine person. Bonac pulls rabbits out of his hat at the Arnold. The best Bonacs we've seen is at the Arnold. So I think, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, mental, maybe whatever it is, the timing of the year, that show, he nails it. We all know he should have won the one against Brandon. So I think this is going to be a way better Bonac than we saw at the Olympia. And that's going to be the difference. Is it going to be Bonac or someone new?
The aesthetics of Samson and the size and the vacuum and all the fresh muscle, versus the hardness of, because Bonac, he has some different, that muscle of his, that's hard muscle, correct? Dense.
Yeah, super dense. And he's a thick man. He's like so thick. From the side, he's actually going to be really hard to beat. I think from the side, Bonac beats everyone. It's just going to be, is he Bonac from when he got screwed over at the last Arnold, or is he going to be the Bonac that he is at these past couple Olympias?
Is there anyone on this list, last question, that can win over Samson the best posting award? Is there anyone that has the
No. I was gonna say that. Yeah, they should just give him the award. He doesn't even need to do a routine.
Is there one that can Kamal create something?
No, Kamal's he's one of the best guys. He's so funny, but no, he's not gonna be pulling out any kind of best poser awards. But Justin Rodriguez, I don't know if he still is, but he was working with Alyssa. People know her as the Classic Queen on Instagram. And she did his last Arnold routine, if not the last two. So maybe they have something working up that they might be able to concoct together. But it's just one of those things where, look, you can be a really good poser at making a routine, practicing it. That's something I think everybody should do. Like, there's no excuse not to just kind of come up with something to a song. But then there's just people that they are like natural posers, even when they're walking. And that's just how I feel he is. So Samson walking out is already the best poser than anyone's routine I've seen at the Olympia.
No matter what, we are a little bit disappointed. People aren't doing it, but we are celebrating, obviously, the guys that's in it. And no matter what, each Arnold Classic, we're gonna get it. We are excited, aren't we? Anyway.
I mean, it's my favorite show, just like you said. It really is the best show, and really for fans that have been watching the sport for decades, it was easily our favorite because we had a Ronnie Coleman for 8 years, and then we had Phil for 8 years. So the Arnold was the only show that you went into and you had no idea who was going to win. It was a different winner almost every single year, so it's very exciting. So there's nothing different about this year either. Even though there's less people, we still don't know who's going to win. There is no like Ramy in it. I had talked to Ramy, Hani before the Olympia, and they were even maybe talking about maybe doing the Arnold. So maybe now that he won, he's not going to do that. Maybe he's traveling, being the ambassador, being the Mr. Olympia, maybe taking a break. But I thought there was going to be a hottie. I thought there was going to be one really big name in the Arnold that at least we're like, well, who's going to beat him? Now we don't know. We don't know who's going to win. So it's very exciting. Before we go, you don't know the show yet, but will we see you compete in America or out of seas for your show? Come on, you got to tell us something, like a little mystery. In Europe, I mean, out of Europe or in America? Neither. I think it'll not be in America, but not Europe.
Oh, that's a mystery for people. Look at the date. Look at the show. Not Europe and not America.
I don't know yet. It's not a for sure. I started
Arnold Classic Brazil.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. When's the date of that show?
That's a good show. That's in May.
Yeah, that would be.
Can you take Rafael Brandao?
Rafa. Yeah, God, Rafa is like
he's a hero in Brazil.
I feel like they would kill me if I beat him. I probably shouldn't beat him. I should just take second place and walk out with my life.
Okay.
But Rafa's my boy. Obviously, we're both with Aceto, and I was talking shit to him at the Olympia about the Arnold Brazil. I was telling him he needs to let someone else win it because he's won it every year for so many years. Rafa's gonna take some time to grow, I think. I think he's going to take some time off. So, but if he did it, I think it's literally just going to be a who's better conditioned. Because I mean, I'll weigh him, but we all know that doesn't mean anything.
No. Okay, Sergio, good luck with everything, and I hope you keep fans updated when you are going to compete because really, 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 really miss you now, huh?
Thank you, AJ. I know you do, and that means a lot. I also just want to kind of do a show for myself. I think as pros, we have to get caught up in sponsors and obligations and stuff like that. And we get away with, man, I just want to prep for a show and enjoy the process and get into it and just do it for myself. I haven't done a show for myself in probably a long time. So no matter what I go into the show, I don't want a lot of hype. Like I said, the last time we were talking, I might let a few people know, but I'm still just trying to figure it out. But no matter what, I'm going to be having a good time. And that's what I haven't done for a long time.
Thank you very much for your time.
See you.